Hello and welcome to Rev Sports 26 January. It is so on behalf of Rev Sports, first of all, a very happy Republic Day to everyone who is celebrating, and may the nation continues to keep moving forward in the right direction. And last night was an incredible night for the Indian team. They sealed another bilateral series, and things are looking quite good. Abhishek Sharma's form a good run of form continues, the number one batter, justifying why he has been holding that number one position for a long time now. Surya Kumar Yadav back among runs. Sanju Samson's form is the only concern that is there for the Indian team heading into the World Cup. But again, that is a different topic of discussion. That is for some another time. Today we'll be talking about our neighbors, Pakistan, because again, Pakistan is back in the headlines for all the wrong reasons. So let me give you a quick recap of as to what happened last week. First Bangladesh pulling out of the tournament, they were stubborn. They were on their stance that we will not travel to India. That prompted ICC to replace them with Scotland. Scotland has replaced them in Group C and will play their matches, three matches in Kolkata and one in Mumbai. So after that, there was a voting happened in the ICC meeting in which Pakistan voted in the favor of BCB to relocate their matches. 14 raised to 2 was the voting, and Shamik wrote, who's joining us as he wrote the copy about on it that voting was done. 14-2 came in the favor of ICC, so there was no change in the schedule. After that, on Saturday, Mohsin Naqvi held a press conference in Lahore, and he said that Pakistan's participation in the World Cup is still uncertain. It is still a subject to approval from the government side. Next day, that is yesterday, in Lahore, the same city, Mike Hassan, Akib Javed, the selector, and captain Salman Ali Agha, T20I captain, these three people they came and held a press conference where they announced the squad. So a day before yesterday, Mohsin Naqvi said that the participation of Pakistan is still under a cloud, and next day Pakistan announces their squad for the T20 World Cup. Yesterday also there was another development that happened that Mohsin Naqvi met players and he took players in the confidence and we will be talking about what all happened. It is being reported that Pakistan players have, informed the PCB chairman that we are in support of the board, and whatever the decision that the government will take, we will obey that, and they have no options but to do that. So, but joining us is also Ashok Namudri. So welcome, sir. Great to have you because, and also we are expecting Rohit Juglan also to join from Bulawayo. So first, I'll quickly go to Shamik Chakraborty. Shamik, my first question to is, are is Pakistan really in a position to boycott the tournament? Because Mohsin Naqvi has said that, we obey the Pakistan government, we don't obey the ICC. This is what his statement was on Saturday. So, are they in a position to boycott the tournament? If so, what are the grounds if they boycott an ICC, and on what grounds they will do that?
First of all, Vaibhav, what Mohsin Naqvi said the other day, it was plain and simple grandstanding. But I will come to that later because there is a narrative going on in Pakistan that Mohsin Naqvi ne dunia hila di. Even Basit Ali, the former Pakistan batsman, he has said Naqvi Saab ne dunia hila di. Now the broadcasters will come on the road if Pakistan threatens the boycott of the T20 World Cup, because India versus Pakistan is the money spinner, and if that match is not happening, the broadcasters will come on the road. So basically, um, that is the narrative that is going on in Pakistan. And once again, it is plain and simple posturing. What I've told that from sources in Pakistan, that this will continue for the next couple of days. Today, Mr. Naqvi is likely to meet Pakistan Prime Minister Mr. Shehbaz Sharif, and like Mr. Naqvi said, that we will do what our government instructs us, not will not do what ICC tells us. So, along that line, Mr. Naqvi is likely to meet the Prime Minister today. Yesterday, he met with the World Cup squad, and there the players said, "We will toe the obviously will toe the line, the government's line, whatever the government decides, that is the thing." But the fact of the matter is that you ask me about what grounds. There is no grounds. Even in Pakistan, a section of Pakistan cricket knows that. There is no, because Pakistan, to start with, they're playing their matches in Sri Lanka, and in Sri Lanka there are no security threats. So they cannot claim that they are facing security threats to pull it out. And if you want to be if you want to boycott the tournament, uh, to show solidarity with Bangladesh, that absolutely doesn't make sense. That is like Begani Shadi mein Abdullah Diwana. So you take everything. This is just grandstanding. I think I think they will come. If you look at you, I mean, if you look at the backstories, if you rewind, what did this? What did no India before the Champions Trophy? No, India will have to come and play their matches in Pakistan. We will treat them as our state guests. India played their matches in Dubai, yes, as a quid pro quo. It has been decided that until 2027, India and Pakistan would be playing all their matches at the ICC events at a neutral venue. That is fine. Before the 2023 World Cup, even, they cited concerns, they showed concerns about the security in India, but came and played all their matches in India, right? So this has been the trend set. This has been the trend set, and this is playing to the gallery. So I'm not reading too much into it. As and when Mr. Naqvi meets with Mr. Shehbaz Sharif, and if there is anything to report, we will do that.
Definitely. And means going to Ashok sir, Ashok, do you think that PCB chairman is also holding the position of an interior minister in Pakistan government? So do you think it's just another political stunt like he did last year during the Asia Cup, where he said unless and until Andy Pycroft is removed, we are not going to play our matches, we are going to boycott the Asia Cup. But the Pakistan were forced to do, and they played the matches again. And like Shamik also, gave the example of the Champions Trophy, where he made all the statements before the start of the tournament that India will come to the tournament. We will force them to come to Pakistan and play their matches, but that didn't happen. So do you think it's just another political stunt from Minister Naqvi? What's your view about this?
Yes, Vaibhav. In fact, it is political grandstanding, as Shamik said. It is political blustering that is going on. I think it is actually a continuum from the Asia Cup. Whatever we saw starting there is continuing, and it raises fundamental questions in terms of is this a voluntary invitation to participate in an ICC tournament, or is it a contractual obligation? And I think we need to take this discourse to what happens if you treat it as a contractual obligation, and therefore what are the terms that you contravene when you say you're going to boycott and you're not going to be participating in it. Is it a breach of contract? And then the whole debate assumes a totally different proposition. Now, so the short answer to your question is what Mohsin Naqvi is proclaiming, is just political grandstanding. One feels for the players because the players really have no option. They have no one to turn to, and therefore they are the ones who are finally getting a raw deal. And finally, in spite of whatever Naqvi proclaims, the question is on what grounds can they withdraw? Shamik already said they are playing their matches in Sri Lanka. So is security and safety a plank? Clearly, no. What else could be there? I mean, contracts would have a force majeure. So is there an act of war? Is there a natural disaster that they can claim? We know that that is also ruled out. And finally, is there an issue with, let's say, governance? Is there an issue with discrimination? Hardly anything. I mean, no one can talk about any of these aspects as well. So even the basic plank to argue that there is a reason to boycott, there is a reason to withdraw, doesn't exist. And in this situation, it is therefore clearly proven that it is just political grandstanding.
And just I'm picking it up from there, very important point raised by Ashok, that is it a breach of contract? 100% it's a breach of contract because you signed the participation agreement clause. While going into an ICC event, you sign the participation agreement clause. And by not turning up, you are breaching that. Bangladesh have already breached that clause. And now Pakistan, if they don't turn up, they will breach the participation agreement clause as well. And it is linked to the ICC revenue share. ICC, I mean, like Bangladesh, by refusing to come to India and by refusing to sort of pull themselves out, and ICC was forced to remove them from the World Cup and bring on Scotland. So what? On the face of it, upfront Bangladesh Cricket Board will lose out on the participation money and their share of the prize money. That is upfront. But again, this participation clause is linked to ICC's revenue share. 4.47% of ICC's revenue goes to Bangladesh, and that is around $27.6 million annually. So a big chunk, Bangladesh runs the risk of losing out a big chunk of that. And similarly, Pakistan's share is, I think, 6.7%, or maybe they have increased a little. Whatever. If I take it at 6.7%, if they breach the participation clause, then once again, that is directly related to that ICC revenue share. To another thing is that by refusing to play the World Cup, they're not going against the BCCI. We need to make this clear to our viewers. They're not going. They are going against the ICC board, and that ICC board via 14 to majority decided that ICC, the World Cup schedule will remain unaltered. Now it is the ICC board where other full members are there. So they are effectively they are going against them. So going against the ICC board can have its consequences in terms of bilateral series. Member boards might refuse sending their teams to or play against Pakistan in bilateral series. Also, for the Pakistan Super League, PSL, you need to acquire NOCs for the overseas players. And it is an ICC approved tournament. If ICC says we are revoking our approval, then PSL is gone. If the member boards say we will not give NOCs to our players to play in the PSL, then PSL is gone. So there could be several consequences. You have to keep in mind, oh, Dunia Hila Dega Basitalis discourse, Dunia Hila Dega, India Pakistan match, the revenue generated from India Pakistan match fills 50% of PCB's coffers. India, BCCI is not dependent on the revenue. BCCI is dependent on the IPL revenue mainly, which is $6.2 billion broadcast right still for the current cycle, $6.2 billion. That is BCCI's primary source of revenue. So from that point of view, you can understand who is going to be the loser.
Yeah, and Vaibhav, I just want to if you allow me, just make a couple of points related to that. Otherwise,
Please,
we'll
please.
miss the theme. So Shamik mentioned the ICC members participation agreement, and I've been doing a little bit of research on this, and if I'm not wrong, then there will be an agreement with the host board as well, and we'll come back to that later. But as an ex-broadcast professional, I can tell you that there will also be broadcast and commercial rights contracts, which are all at risk now because of any such prospective action. And so the impact is definitely financial, as Shamik has pointed out. And I can tell you that from a broadcast perspective, broadcast is not just broadcasting the matches, right? Broadcasting also means that you get advertisers to come in on board. There is something called advertiser confidence. So what happens is that in a scenario where they decided to pull out or they boycott, one is the direct financial impact, which Shamik has very clearly spelled out. The other is that you are actually then running the system into the ground, because when you come back, it's not that it's an open and shut and you just come back as normal. There is going to be an erosion of advertiser confidence. There is going to be an erosion of overall economic conditions, and therefore the validity of a league, let's say, as an example, let's take the PSL. When it starts up after a lag, it's not that it's going to continue from where it left off. There is going to be a catch up that they will need to do, and that is going to be further erosion of confidence. So in effect, what you're doing is really running the entire cricketing ecosystem into the ground. And this I had mentioned in the context of Bangladesh as well. It will hold true for Pakistan as well.
And Ashok, I think that confidence is very, very important. In fact, that forms the bedrock of a partnership, of a commercial partnership. That confidence forms the bedrock, isn't it? Because you are an expert in that field and you would be able to elaborate further.
Absolutely. In fact, that is the bedrock is the right term, absolutely the right term, because, one is you've got, to use a cliche, one, you've got the letter and you've got the spirit. And what happens is that in a contract, there is also a spirit. And once that is eroded, to build it back is not easy. And also what happens in these situations is that, the point that Shamik mentioned, for example, the IPL value of 6.2, media rights value of $6.2 billion was not built overnight. It has been built over 2 or 3 stints. And, it's taken a decade and a half to get to that, because there is an improvement in confidence. There is a goodwill that one has around it. And therefore, it's an upward spiral. So the moment it goes from an upward spiral into a downward spiral, to bring it back is a huge, huge issue.
Since you guys talked about the consequences and sanctions, let's just take a hypothetical situation where Pakistan pulls out of the tournament on whatever grounds. They will say that the government hasn't allowed us, so we are not coming. We are not going to Sri Lanka. So, Ashok, what are all the consequences and sanctions that they can face from the ICC? Can you just list it down for us?
Yeah, great question. And one related point before I jump into the answer to that is, why are they doing this? Why would they be taking this stance? A political stance, we all agree, but why would they be taking it? For example, is Pakistan facing a declining broadcast leverage? The same point that we said in the case of the IPL valuation, media rights value of 6.2. Is Pakistan facing a declining trend in terms of broadcast leverage? Is that the underlying reason why this political grandstanding is going on? It's a great question to think about. Similarly, is there a loss of bilateral bargaining power? Given that the subcontinent political dynamics are such, it's already eroded, we know that, but is that further declining? Is there a marginalization in the ICC revenue politics that is happening? I mean, I think Shamik mentioned that they may be slightly higher, but is that at risk? So there could be many underlying issues that we are not aware of, and maybe they are trying to camouflage it with this political grandstanding. But to answer your question, Vaibhav, if they do pull out for political reasons, if the government takes a stance, one is a direct financial impact because of the ICC share that accrues to the Pakistan Cricket Board. And that is not just a financial implication. You see, the money is always used for development of the sport and the ecosystem, which is why I call it the ecosystem, which is going to be run into the ground. It takes a long, long time to come back. And we have many examples of countries which had shown initially a lot of promise, and you don't even hear about them. What has happened there? It is basically that the cash flows have got constricted, and the ecosystem finds it difficult to breathe. Second, there is the issue of a boycott. I mean, something like this will lead to what I say a confidence erosion, and which means that you will have bilateral issues when it comes to boards saying that hosting Pakistan for a bilateral series, there are going to be asked, and where do you turn to in terms of answers then? I think that's going to be the other one. The third is accreditation. I mean, the Pakistan Super League is an ICC approved league. What if the ICC says we are going to now take it back to the drawing board and ask some serious questions? So, you see, the point is simply that at this level, when you take a stance like this, when you proclaim like this for whatever reason, political or otherwise, you need to have enough elbow room to maneuver, and you need to know where you can, get leverage to take a stance, to move it in a different direction, to have a backup plan A, a backup plan B. And if you don't have all of this, then you look at what has happened to Bangladesh. Finally, they had no option but to accept the ICC ruling and step back. And what does that mean? It means loss of face as well, which I think is the last point that I would like to say in terms of impact, Vaibhav, to your question, which is the ignominy of a loss of face is as big as a political loss of face, frankly, for the country.
And this is brilliantly spelled out, Ashok. I mean,
Shamik, I mean,
the very important point you raised about this declining from the in terms of commerce, the declining financial leverage, because just putting it into just citing the political reasons, I think is a bit oversimplification. The common perception is that the Pakistan government, and cricket is incidental here. Cricket is incidental here. The common perception is that the Pakistan government is using the caretaker Bangladesh government to create famine in India's eastern borders. There is already famine. The cross-border terrorism is ongoing in India's western border, but using that Pakistan caretaker Bangladesh government, the Pakistan government is trying to create famine in India's eastern borders. But I don't think that is an oversimplification. The point related to commerce is spelled out. That is the main reason. Because at the end of the day, it's all about money, honey.
Shamik, my next question was on those lines only. What exactly Pakistan are going to get from all this? They are already playing their games in Colombo. They will be playing all their games in two venues. In Colombo, they will be staying in one hotel, which they have been talking about since last year when India was in Dubai playing all their matches for in Dubai in Champions Trophy. So what exactly are they trying to achieve here? Is threatening ICC a great move? Because it's a threat only. It's a blank threat, obviously. Eventually, they will have to come. And yesterday, during our Hindi show, Rohit Juglan was telling us that they have already booked their tickets for third or fourth. Also, they are expected to land in Colombo on third or fourth. So, is threatening ICC a great move in the long term?
No, it's not a great move, Vaibhav, and they are doing it for a reason. That is short term. What they are gaining, that is column inches and airwaves. Otherwise, nobody would have been written would have written about Pakistan, right? Without that comment from Mohsin Naqvi on Saturday, no news outlet would have written on Pakistan. Uh, Pakistan put out their squad yesterday, so that would have been just the story. That would have been just a 300-word story that Pakistan announced the squad for the Champions Trophy. They need India. They need Pakistan. Need India. Be it their politics, be it their cricket, be it their diplomacy. They need India to survive and sustain. Because if you go to politics, when your economy is shrinking by the day, then what you have anti-India discourses to keep your people, to pacify your people. Otherwise, the people could come on the streets. Their diplomacy is related to, even at Davos, at the World Economic Forum, everything. India didn't say a word on Pakistan. India spoke about green energy. India spoke about air quality, everything. But India didn't say a word about Pakistan. But Pakistan discourses, even in Davos, centered around India because they need India to survive and sustain. Simple as that.
Final few minutes
And
on the show,
just
so
one,
we'll get
just
into the
1 minute,
questions.
just my one-liner to conclude this. India have dehyphenated Pakistan. Be it politics, be it sports, be it economics. India have dehyphenated Pakistan, but Pakistan has failed to do it.
Absolutely. And because it all has started with Mohsin Naqvi's statements, what he made on Saturday. So, Ashok, final question to you. Don't you think it's instead of poking nose into someone else's matters, it would be better for Mohsin Naqvi, the PCB chairman, to raise the standards of Pakistan cricket? Because I remember before the start of the Champions Trophy, there was still, reconstruction work going just one month prior to the Rawalpindi Stadium in Lahore's Gaddafi Stadium. So, don't you think it's high time for Pakistan cricket to raise their standards instead of, doing this all political stunt, creating all this drama, giving blank threats to ICC and other member boards?
Yeah, it's a great point that you're making. In fact, it is, to use an old adage, it is cutting your nose to spite someone. I mean, you are, in effect, what you're doing is you are blocking your own oxygen by doing something like this. You see, I'm going to stress again on the commercial side of it. That's my area of expertise. See, the whole point is that modern cricket is obviously about sport, but it is equally about predictability. When it comes to business and commerce, what business loves is the fact that there is predictability. You may lose or you may win a match, you may lose or win a series. Business has nothing to do with it. Business says, give me predictability. Give me the fact that if ICC says there is a World Cup tournament, the tournament will happen. The tournament will happen as per the given schedule. The inventory that the tournament promises will be available. And everything else as per contract is going to be adhered to. And that's where people say, okay, we have credibility here. I'm ready to put the money there. In doing stunts like this, you are eroding that credibility, and it's a loss not just to your national ecosystem; it's a loss to the entire ecosystem of world cricket in terms of what they are doing. To come back to the point that you made, the money that you generate from ICC, where does it go? Does it go into the coffers? No, it goes to really develop domestic cricket. It goes to develop women's cricket. It develops to do school cricket, building infrastructure, training. So where is all that going to happen if they cut off their own oxygen? And therefore, absolutely right you are, Weber, which is that it's better to first look inwards, take a critical look at where you stand, and compare vis-a-vis other countries. Where do we? What are the areas? What are the pathways to develop the cricketing ecosystem, and what can we do about it? In terms of this grandstanding, I think the unfortunate thing is they don't realize what the medium to long-term impact of these moves are going to be.
Okay, so now,
Just,
yeah,
just
yeah,
a
Shamik.
continuation, Ashok. When George Nathaniel Curzon, Lord Curzon, came to India as its viceroy, um, he was advised by his mates at Eton, try to suffer fools gladly. And that has been in Pakistan, if you see the elite class in Pakistan, and there is a marked difference. Pakistan don't have a middle class. It's either elite class and otherwise you are working on a shoestring. So the class where Mohsin Naqvi and these elite Punjabis belong, they are still trying to suffer fools gladly. That is their motto, and they will continue doing that.
You're on mute, Weber.
Sorry. Uh, Shamik, Prabhakar Kumar is asking, what if Pakistan only boycott the India match which is scheduled in Colombo on 15th?
They will forfeit points. They will forfeit
Is
points in
it
any.
is
They will forfeit points in any case. They will lose. In any case, they will be hammered. They will avoid the ignominy of being hammered, because India have been chasing down 208 in 15 overs after losing 6 for 2. India have been finishing matches inside 10 overs. This is the strength of this T20 side, Indian T20 side. Pakistan are no match. So if they boycott, they will, whatever it is. I don't know how much the broadcasters will lose, because that Ashok will be able to elaborate on that better. But in terms of In terms of cricket, they will forfeit points, but they will uh, they will avoid ignominy.
Yeah. In fact, let me just since Shamik you mentioned that, let me just give you some data points. One is we need to understand that when it comes to cricket, the India-Pakistan match typically is the Super Bowl of cricket, right? You've got
Exactly.
about a ballpark number is 40% of the tournament commercial value comes from that one single encounter that is there. Broadcast rates jump 5 to 7 times when it comes to an India-Pakistan match, and therefore global sponsors structure, they wait with their money for this campaign. I mean, I can tell you that any solid marketeer of repute would first look at the cricketing calendar if you're based in the subcontinent, look at the cricketing calendar and figure out how many India Pakistan encounters are going to be there before you start deploying your money. Because in terms of aggregating reach where there is perfect engagement, there isn't a better substitute. And therefore, you are then putting that entire thing to risk by doing this. Boycotting this match specifically is not just symbolic, it is commercial sabotage, if you ask me.
Yeah.
In relation to that, there's another question for you, Ashok. Ramesh Kumar is asking, why can't ICC, keeping future in mind, keep India and Pakistan in separate groups in ICC tournaments?
I think I will. So there's a lot of debate on this, and I can see Shamik is shaking his head because of the various discussions, and I'm going to ask him to come and respond to that as well. But look, I'm a votary of really looking at a system overall. In fact, I'd written a few days back saying that do we need a new operating system? So do we need, for example, neutral venues where we can go in and do these tournaments going forward? But some of these things, are then going to be artificial. Is my personal point of view. It goes against the grain of the design of the tournament, and I would never be as votary of that. Shamik, your view?
As you said, Ashok, India-Pakistan game is a Super Bowl of world cricket. And one of the reasons why ICC decided that there would be at least one ICC event every year, that is to have India-Pakistan game. Be it in men's cricket, be it in women's cricket, that at least one India-Pakistan game will, because that fills the coffers. As Ashok said, 40% of the 40%. So from that point of view, this is the precise reason why India and Pakistan are clubbed in the same group, because you never know if Pakistan would qualify for the knockouts, and in that case, broadcasters will miss out on that. Will miss out on that game. They cannot take chances. They cannot take chances. India, Australia, this is the world's biggest rivalry, arguably the biggest cricket rivalry. But it is not. In terms of commerce, it is still India Pakistan. India Pakistan, despite the fact that Pakistan are no longer a cricket superpower, unfortunately, because they are a great cricket nations with massive history. They are a great cricket nations, but unfortunately, because of their own fault, they cease to be a cricketing superpower on the field or even off the field. They ceased to be a cricketing superpower. So from that, so business will ensure, and whatever it is, the basic principles of business will not take chances. We need India-Pakistan game, and that is why they are, and the more the merrier. If India and Pakistan are clubbed in the same group, one match is guaranteed, and then in the next phases, as the teams will progress, then we'll have more matches. Simple. This is simple, plain and simple economics.
So just before we were about to end our show, Rohit has also joined us from Bulawayo. Rohit, we have been discussing about Pakistan and what all has been happening in the last week or so. On Saturday, Mohsin Naqvi saying that that is the subject, the Pakistan's participation is still a subject to approval from the government of Pakistan. Yesterday, they announced their squad. On February 1, India will play Pakistan, the Under 19 World Cup match. So do you think it will have an impact on that? And also in relation to that, in addition to that question, handshake or not or no handshake? What's your take? I think his internet.
My internet is okay. Yes, I think.
Am I audible?
Yeah. Yes.
Did you get the question or should I repeat?
No. I didn't get the question.
Okay, so we were discussing about Pakistan and what all have been happening in the last few days. Mohsin Naqvi making those statements on Saturday, then Pakistan announcing the squad yesterday. Naqvi meeting the players later in the day yesterday, and there is a match on the horizon on February 1. India will play Pakistan in the Under 19 World Cup. So, do you think these all things will affect the players who are there in Zimbabwe, or and also handshake or not handshake? What will happen on the 1st of February since you are there on the ground?
So I don't think that anything has changed as far as handshake is concerned, because in last 1.5 months, because that was never the case as far as both the teams are concerned in Asia Cup also, and before that also. And there was multiple things happened, in particular with the Asia Cup, sorry, in particular with the Under 19 World Cup also. You remember the Ali Raza thing, and you remember what Vaibhav Suryavanshi did, and you remember what Ayush Matre did when he was going back, after the dismissal. There were multiple things said. There were multiple things said when the players were going, because Ashok sir also know it, Shamikda also know it, that when you go from in Dubai, from ICC Academy to the bus, there was a good amount of space where you can interact with the fan also, and where you can easily hear that what the fans are saying. So, when I got the visual at that point of time, there were multiple things said by the Pakistani fans also, towards India Under 19 players and the support staff, and that was quite audible. It was not something like you have to keep your ears close to the fan, close to that audio, and then have to make out that what they are saying, what they were saying at that point of time. So, yeah, I think that's. But as far as the meeting is concerned, I think I think they can take any call. They were also thinking, what I'm hearing at that this point of time is that they were also thinking in this point that let's not take care much of that 2 points which we can get if we beat India. Look, beating India is obviously one of the hardest tasks in that group. But what you can easily do is you can beat Netherlands, you can beat USA, you can beat Namibia. Uh, Although we all know that what happened versus USA in last World Cup 2024, that could be one of the toughest game for Pakistan in this group also. 10th of Feb in Pakistan versus USA could be a very tough game for Pakistan, and we all know that what kind of a squad they had. They are lacking at this point of time a good finisher in their squad. Top order, you all know that. What were the strike rates as far as Sahib Zada Farhan, if you consider him, or a Saim Ayub, or someone like a Babar Azam now. Your Akib Javed is only saying that we are picking Babar Azam because we can have that kind of wicket, two pacey kind of wicket in Sri Lanka, and that's why they were picking Babar Azam. So I think overall, what I am hearing since last night was they can forfeit those 2 points as far as playing versus India is concerned, because their main motive is now to put this game aside and play those rest of the three games, and then if they won at least two of the games, their net run rate will be okay and they can move towards the Super 8 stage. So what I am hearing is they will definitely push towards this point, that can we forfeit that game against India, and it's been done in the past. You all know that New Zealand doing it, with not going to Kenya in 2003 World Cup. Apart from that, we all know what Zimbabwe did. We all know what Zimbabwe did in 2009. They said that we don't want to go to, England. 2016 Under 19 Australia team said we don't want to go to Bangladesh. uh, 2016 World Cup in India, what had happened with Pakistan team. So there were multiple examples in the past also when teams forfeited their 2 points, and ICC don't have anything to say, because they can easily say that our government is denying, or anything can happen as far as the situation in our country is concerned. So yeah, that's my point.
So Pakistan can obviously propose this idea of not playing against India on 15th in Colombo, but the bigger question is, will ICC allow this because it's an ICC event? ACC is not there that Mohsin Naqvi can make it happen. He could not even remove Andy Mycroft as match referee during the Asia Cup. But so yeah, this was all. It's a wrap for the show. We will keep bringing you all the updates related to this. Keep following this space. Turn on the notifications you have if you haven't done it yet. Thanks, Ashok, Shamik, Rohit for joining, and we'll be back at 5. So keep following this space for more. Thank you very much.
Thank you.